In today's video, we're going to be diving into the upcoming pattern where, even compared to yesterday's video, I would say we have even more storminess expected. We're going to be looking at the precipitable water anomalies once again, which is just going to show us the overall moisture in the atmosphere. And this looks just as elevated as it did yesterday, but it looks to continue a lot longer as we approach the 20th and even a little bit beyond. So really, really rich amounts of moisture, lots of thunderstorms, and even really good reason to feel like there could be a pretty big severe weather event mixed in there as well. So let's dive into things. And right out of the gate, again, we're looking at that precipitable water anomaly. So this is compared to your average for every given location. You know, Iowa's below average for what Iowa averages as far as precipitable water on May 11th. They are below that average, and it goes for every single little location on here, so we can get a comparison from what's typical to what we're seeing now. And looking at this afternoon, which, by the way, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, we see elevated areas of precipitable water in the southeast and deep south. This is going to be an area where we are seeing ample amounts of moisture, tons of precipitation, just really, really rich moisture. In the Rockies here into a lot of Canada as well, we're seeing very similar conditions, and it's dry in between here. As we keep going, we're going to see this area off the southeast just explode up into the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic. This is as we're looking at Monday afternoon. Here's Tuesday afternoon. We see that extending up into the Great Lakes, further north in the Mid-Atlantic and even into the Northeast. And as we continue, this is Thursday the 15th. We're still above average for basically all of the East. And then as you reach towards the Canadian border, we're much further above normal, probably double or triple what is average. So just really, again, elevated. And originally, in yesterday's model run, basically, after this point, we would see this dry air push it out, and we would see an overall drier pattern ensue. But what we see now happening is this is going to want to stick back, so it's going to kind of stay to the west, and we're actually going to see another area of rich moisture start to push its way in immediately after. So let's watch this play out there. Really, really rich moisture still for the East Coast by Saturday the 17th. Sunday the 18th, a little drier, but look at Monday. We rebound right away, 19th here. Tuesday the 20th. Continued moisture along the east. Wednesday the 21st, really, really elevated. And then finally by like the 22nd, 23rd, we do get a bit drier, but it looks like moisture is making a pretty good comeback after the 25th. So you can kind of get the feel that we are going to be seeing above average moisture, above average precipitation for basically the entire next 2 weeks. Really crazy stuff. Let's take a look at some of these storms as they happen. And again, as we start the model run out, remember that precipitable water was really elevated for these areas, and this is just going to push its way up the East Coast. This is for today on Mother's Day, tomorrow on Monday. This is the look, and it's pushing even further northward by Tuesday. We do see continued rain showers and snow showers out west pretty persistently over the next few days, so that's kind of sticking around. Wednesday the 14th, we see it pushing even further northward up here into the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, Great Lakes. We actually have a pretty substantial storm system out west as well, especially for these more central states like the Rockies eastward into the northern plains. We're seeing heavy rainfall and thunderstorms there for the northern plains, but heavy snowfall even for the Rockies, especially the higher elevations. Again, that's Wednesday on the 14th. Thursday on the 15th here, we do see a massive storm system, 986 right here near the Dakotas, and we are almost certainly seeing severe weather sparking up here for the upper Midwest and some of the northern plains for Thursday on the 15th from that. We can see that as we reach that evening, we're going to have a pretty big threat for the Great Lakes and upper Midwest still Thursday into Friday. That's the 15th into the 16th, so this could be a primarily overnight event, unfortunately, which are a little bit more dangerous because people are sleeping. As we reach towards Friday, what we see is that whoa, that is a little big there, guys. As you can see, we have this low here, and it's like a cinnamon bun. I mean, we get this swirling, as you can see, in a lot of areas where it has like layers. Very, very interesting storm. The low is up here. We get an extended cold front right here that's kind of jetting out ahead of the low. And what we end up getting is severe thunderstorms for south central states, some of the lower Midwest, deep south, some of the northern southeast, I guess you could call it, the lower mid Atlantic. These areas are somewhere to watch for Friday into Saturday, the 16th into the 17th. And even as we head towards Saturday, the 17th, into the Sunday, the 18th time frame, we see this still impacting the eastern seaboard. Then, as we reach towards Monday on the 19th, we get more storminess as we get a low forming near Oklahoma. So this is just going to really continue here. We see that push some thunderstorms into the east, and then we get this low here that looks to have a lot of dynamic to it, where we get this cold front underneath again. So we would see another severe weather threat likely if that occurred. Of course, we are approaching the 10-day mark here, so you want to take it with a grain of salt as it is far out, but really interesting pattern that this model is trying to suggest with just constant, continuous storms moving into the central and eastern states here. Really interesting. Wednesday on the 21st here, we get this really dynamic look with this one as it moves up into Canada. Clear as day, cold front, warm front out ahead of things. So what ends up happening is we get this warm, humid air pulled up the eastern seaboard by this warm front. And then we get the cold, dry air hitting it from the side. And that creates a lot of instability along that cold front boundary. And that's why we get these really intense thunderstorms sparking up for some of the Appalachian Mountain Range here by Wednesday afternoon, 2 p.m. As we reach towards more like 8 p.m., we can see this saturates and just really takes over for the entire eastern seaboard as well. And that probably persists well into the night before moving out. And this would be by Thursday the 22nd. This is the very long range, so keep in mind this could look very, very different, but this would lead to very dry and much cooler air moving through with an intense cold front like that, so we would get a little bit of a break. Of course, this is May 22nd, so what is cooler anyway? Like 70s at this point, so it wouldn't be cold, it just wouldn't be as hot. As we reach towards Friday the 23rd here, we see another stronger low up here in eastern Canada and another cold front situation where we could be seeing thunderstorms and severe weather. So it really just doesn't look to end. And as we're reaching the end of this model run right here, we do see another system building. So we get into this hyperactive, very, very intense and repetitive storm cycle almost, where it's just like a constant rotation of these storms moving through. Really, really crazy stuff. Total precipitation because of this is obviously going to be explosive for most areas from the plains eastward, but especially for this corridor here, as we can see some of these browns popping up, that is going to be very intense amounts of rainfall over the next 2 weeks, likely 5 to 10 inches for some folks. Obviously, as we reach like the late spring, summer months, it's important to remember that when these lines of storms come through, there's much heavier pockets and there's much lighter pockets, and they are considerably close together. So you might get 5 inches while the town next to you gets 2.5 over the next 2 weeks, or you might get 10 and the town next to you might get 2. That's how detrimental these hits and misses are with these lines of thunderstorms that have much heavier pockets and much lighter pockets. It can be night or day depending on where you're at. So it's very hard for me to sit here and tell you that you are going to get, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches of rainfall, because I don't know if you're in one of the towns that's going to get hit or missed, but this area has the best shot of seeing the severe rainfall, I guess I should say. Looking at the anomalies compared to what's normal again with the precipitation, just through the next 360 hours, which will be through May 26th, this is the 15-day precipitation anomaly. We can see highly above average precipitation for most areas along the east, much drier for the south central states, a little wetter here east of the Rockies and in the Rockies, the northern Rockies at least, areas in here, and then very close to normal for the west coast. Looking at the Storm Prediction Center outlooks here, we do see for day 1 today on Sunday, May 11th, we have 2 general thunderstorm risk areas in those lighter green regions. That is where we expect general thunderstorms, but anything is possible, so heed every watch, warning, and advisory. We have 2 darker green areas within each of those lighter green areas, and that's going to be your level 1 marginal risk, and that is where we expect isolated severe weather to occur. And then your yellow area there for Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana is your level 2 slight risk, where we expect scattered about severe weather to be happening. As we reach towards day 2, Monday the 12th, tomorrow, 3 general thunderstorm risk areas and 1 marginal risk there in the deeper southeast. And then for day 3, Tuesday the 13th, we have 3 general thunderstorm risk areas, as you could see. We do have 1 extended day outlook, and this is for Thursday on the 15th, and it will be for a lot of the Midwest and Great Lakes here, where we're going to be watching for at least the slight risk of severe weather expected here in the yellow area, but it could be even more. So we're going to be watching that closely 2 days from now. So I guess Tuesday, we will get this as the day 3 outlook, and we will be able to go over the categories and get a little bit more information on this. So stay tuned for that. Be sure to subscribe because we upload every single day. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.